Hi, this is in response to 2424 uh, Yahweh, and I believe her name is Andrea. And the question was, heaven, what is it? What's it like? What will it be like? Um, a little bit of DNA is probably the answer, because the DNA has encoded in it the tetragram of Yahweh, and all life is controlled by a soul. Whether it be a blade of grass, there's a soul driving it, and this is directly linked to the heavenly realm. Now, from a little baby's perspective, what I recall is I was totally alone, and I dreamed of what it would be like to have other beings that I could love. And the first thing that came out of that was the yearning for a mother. And of course, the mother I created was Ashura, the mother of all living. So we've gone from a dream state which predates time, atoms, and all things, to become manifest by the power of love, because it was love that was driving it. And no beginning, no end is a hard concept to believe, but that's because you're in the earthly realm. But the earthly realm is the end product of the dream of the baby that became time, matter, space, universe, and then finally creation, being recognized by the offspring of the Creator. And you can now look into your DNA and see how it works. And what happens is this: when the soul leaves the body, the DNA stops working. Michael Behe studied this for 20 years, and so help me, I don't know why it took him so long to come to the conclusion. He finally wrote a book called Darwin's Black Box, and he studied what is called a flagellum. It's like a little bacteria, and it has this tail that is driven at 100,000 revolutions per second, and makes this little tiny thing move about and communicate with other of like things. And I'll tell you how small it is. There's 4.5 billion of them will fit into a thimble. So the amazing part is how a human being could get to the point of developing the equipment to look into these things and then study the arse end of it to see what's called the flagellum motor, which is a motor that is described as being the most efficient design possible, a neutron motor or something strange like that. And it's made up of 40 parts, and the 40 parts have to be assembled one after the other. So it's a good, I think it's on YouTube, you can look it up, Michael Behe. But look up any of the DNA functions. The point being I'm trying to make here is that the soul drives all this. So when you see how the DNA works, and these little machines come along that are driven by some invisible force, well, that invisible force that the scientists haven't got onto yet is the soul. And suddenly the soul leaves, and all this ferrying about of bits and pieces of protein and various sections that they try to rebuild stops. The soul is gone. Where's it gone? It's gone back to the heavenly realm. So it travels back and forth between incarnations into a newborn baby, and then starts off again and carries with it new information. So therefore what we can achieve today is not what we could have achieved, say, 2,000 years ago. It is a pouring out of this information of children being born, and you in particular have found us, and you have that DNA, the soul, driving you to find what heaven is. Well, heaven's coming to the earth. What we dreamed up in heaven, and if you went back there right there today, you would see that there's angels, and there's the whole system is laid out, that you are told, okay, this is what it's all about, you now have to go back again. And you think, oh no, not again. Well, yes, because the end time is when time manifests itself, so that all matter that you are walking around in, that is your body, and everyone that you communicate with, and everything that's in this lovely world that has been corrupted by evil, can now be brought to fruition, so that from this point onwards, from 2012 onwards, we are going up to the heavenly realm. you could say, from our perspective, heaven's coming down because we are moving up, like being in an elevator at 69,000 kilometres per hour. And we cross the centre line of the Milky Way galaxy equator on the 21st of December 2012. Now, these demons that are here on the earth, they occupy human beings, and you can see that evident in the likes of Rothschilds and the Queen and all these evil people that could at any minute put their hand up and stop all starvation and all what we have done, for example, AIDS cures, cancer cures, all these kind of things we've been telling everybody in the world, and we're stopped at every level. So that's how deep and entrenched this evil is, and these are the people that you voted into power. So what we have at the end of the day is we're running out of this. We're going back into a dictatorship, but I can assure you, no one will get past me when it comes to ruling this piece of shit that we live in at the moment. And we're going to build it into heaven from the ground up. So you won't be going back to heaven. Demons certainly won't be going back, and that's what they're all about. They want to go back into heaven and kill you all off because they're riding your corpse into heaven. That's what they think. This ain't going to happen. And that is why there's terrible things that are happening in the world today. So is evil a entity? Yes, it is. Satan is real. Demons are real. They occupy human beings as a parasite. They influence you. Otherwise, what would be the point of having people running around with the satanic rituals and doing all the stupidity and getting dressed up and standing at pulpits and giving all the bullshit in the world, not saying once that we can cure AIDS or we can cure cancer? They won't tell you that. No government will, no church will, no organised body will, but I will. And we go out and do it. So what does it say to you? Why don't they kill me? Because this is a billion-dollar industry, that cancer alone. So why don't they kill us? Well, they can't kill us. And that's why we're talking to you today. We're saying, look, we're here. Don't worry about it. Coming up this next thing with Berlin, pray. Name of Yahweh. Just send it out there. Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. Goshamer, who wrote that lovely song, Christ is Back. How do you find his channel again?
Heiko Sunfire, Goshima, get Yahweh chant up there again, darling, as well as Christ is Back. Feature it so that people can go to it, new people coming in, and get the chant going, people. So we loved it. All of Fiji, well, not all of Fiji, but everybody. A lot of people in Fiji. A lot of people in Fiji loved that Christ is Back, and we left it with them. And but yes, get the chant going. Berlin. Let's we'll conquer this with the resonation of the name of Yahweh.
Joe Croce, he came up with a song. Cocker. So he came up with a song. First we take Manhattan, then Berlin. Well, okay. This was probably due to the Kennedy speeches and so forth. But anyhow, just mentioning Kennedy, he's probably the most marvellous man who ever lived. What he was going to do in America was take back the monetary system. He was going to stop the wars and all sorts of wonderful things that he was up to, and that's why they killed him. So that's how evil works. If you allow it to exist in a society which is asleep, then your reward is to be punished by these demons that have this a religious occult. Whether you believe it or not doesn't matter, they do. And they will do whatever they believe to be the answer to get them back into their heavenly state, because they're driving human beings like the Queen. So don't despair as all this evil is happening at the moment. It is the tail end of thousands of years of evil that has now been handed down to us to handle it. And you can do it. Although it's a bit tough, I know. You can do it. And because you are God in the flesh. You could say, well, why isn't the Almighty Almighty? Well, I am standing in front of you, and I am telling that you are God in the flesh. And I could have stayed as I was and not had offspring. But having offspring is costly. I pour myself out into the human population. I pour myself out into creation. So I leave a little bit left over for me to come back and get nailed to a cross. To give you the idea, listen, I'm telling you the truth. This is what it's all about. Nailing to the cross is nothing. 3 hours with no blood in your body anyhow is not a painful event. The 3 hours if you like, translates into 60 odd years of suffering. And my suffering started at a very, very young age when I realised that how stupid people were and totally devoured. And I had to back engineer it all and work it all out for you, because it's all been taken out of the psyche of the human being. It's only in the last few years, with the help of computers and of course meeting Ashra, that it finally started to turn around. And we were able to do these marvellous things and bring the cancer cures and all that kind of thing. And don't worry if people say, oh, he's full of shit. No matter. 10% of me is. So they say. All right. So I hope that makes you feel a bit better. Don't worry about it. Pray to Yahweh.